Hello. This is Friday, June 20th, 2025. This is a sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker, coming to you from Lexington, Kentucky. Juneteenth, yesterday. Celebrations across the country, nationwide. There was even a new statue put up here in Lexington. And video and pictures are available. The weather today in this area, currently it is 76 degrees. We'll go up to around 86. 76 feels like 76. Special weather statement until Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Today, a mix of sun and clouds. Highs in the mid-80s and lows in the mid-60s. Cleanup begins after Hurricane Eric. Ragweed pollen decreasing tomorrow, almost the same as yesterday, up by 2 degrees. Today, sunrise was at 6:15 a.m. Sunset will be at 9:04 p.m. The AQI is good at 35. You have a 4-mile-per-hour wind, and pollen is high. Sunset 9:04 p.m. Weather-related news. SpaceX Starship explodes on launch pad. This is the third time there was not a successful launch of a SpaceX Starship. So Elon, good money after bad. Anyway, summer solstice. Best sunrise spots across the U.S. Lake Tahoe, Nevada has the best sunrise out of those ones mentioned. Florida got a nod in this list as a place to see the sunrise. Before I get into today's program, this being the official first calendar day of summer, I wanted to kind of touch bases and review a few things. You know, traditionally, summer, the weather's warm, muggy, all kinds of things. And traditionally, we have to watch our tempers. So I wanted to kind of delve into the idea of mass shootings a little bit, although I mentioned it several times previously. And this is based on the fact that several members of Congress have recently opposed a automatic weapons ban. So it purports to kind of two things. We know the government, has large lobby groups that advocate for things that they would like to have. Amongst those are the NRA, tobacco, maybe Big Pharma. And it's kind of like, to me, a misnomer that the NRA, National Rifle Association, which moved from New York to Texas based on investigations by the DOJ, has purported, Second Amendment rights. But as a veteran who has served in the military, armed forces in this country, as a member of the Marine Corps, I would say there's a difference between a rifle and a pistol as opposed to what's being said about semi-automatic rifles and automatic handguns. Because to me, if you hand me a 1911, then I'm gonna think I'm in the gunfight. If you hand me an M16 semi-automatic, then I'm in a firefight. So it's not fair for unarmed civilians to be assaulted unexpectedly going about their daily business by people who purport to own and use semi-automatic weapons, rifles as well as handguns. So maybe if they change the NRA name to like Guns and Ammo, they might have some place to stand. But National Rifle Association purports to those days when American manufactured guns were just 22, a handgun, revolver, as opposed to automatic weapon, 30-06, and mostly we're talking about hunting and putting something on the table to eat. And Fish and Wildlife, our department will probably attest to that. But now we have what we have going on today. But also, I have to comment on, and again, it's like a left-handed compliment, because you tell young people, do as I say, do not as I do, but that's another story altogether. But anyway, there's a fair amount of postings on social media about fistfights. So if I had my druthers, I'd rather see a fist fight than a shooting, that's for sure, because whatever the disagreement was, both people walk away to live another day. But it also speaks to our communities as to giving young people alternatives, as has been said for years upon years, in community activities, community centers, group activities that in and amongst themselves are advocates for disagreement resolution. So we as adults or responsible people or people in a position to move in that direction have always stated that they're open to young people being a part of the community in a positive way. So that's just something I wanted to put out there. Here in Lexington, there's some things going on for children related to water safety, other things that the summer brings as far as activities are concerned that a word of caution might be benefited from. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there. Today, June 20th, is the official start of summer on the calendar. So that being said, let's get into the news. Number one college basketball prospect sends 3-word message amid commitment decision. Tyrone Stokes is keeping his cards close to his chest. Stokes is the nation's number one men's basketball recruit in the class of 2026. The 6'7" wing is being tracked by some of the country's strongest college teams, but to date, his recruitment remains open and blue blood programs continue to jostle for his signature. Next one, new monument honors formerly enslaved Lexingtonians. As I said, this is a statue of a man and a woman with their hands extended to the sky, having successfully traveled to freedom. And again, it's based on Union troops riding into Galveston, Texas, to let those people that were slaves there know that they were free. Next one, lying sack of blank. Donald Trump's administration blasts author for fabricating details about president's birthday parade flop. Donald Trump's administration documents not like people talking bad about their boss. The administration does not like them people talking bad about their boss. But that being said, you do have troops, 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army parade coinciding with Donald Trump's birthday. So there were protests across the country. I think 2,000 cities stepped up. No kings, authoritarianism not wanted. Next one, Ford calls out less American competition just days after CEO admitted immediate shutdown of factories and car production. Next one, remorseless January 6th defendant deserves life in prison as he continues to believe he was justified for plotting to kill FBI agents as a self-proclaimed patriot, DOJ says. Edward Kelly, 35, was convicted by a federal jury in the Eastern District of Tennessee last November on charges of conspiracy to murder federal employees, solicitations to commit a crime of violence, and influencing a federal official by threat following a 3-day trial. Jimmy Kimmel responds to Trump calling French President Macron publicity seeking. It's like Diddy calling you a bad boyfriend. Okay. Next one. Drunk Southwest passenger who grabbed woman's hair in meltdown is NYC artist who works with Steve Madden, Adidas, and Maybelline. Leanna Perry, a 32-year-old illustrator, was filmed berating fellow passengers and throwing a violent fit as travelers and airline employees tried to remove her from the plane at LaGuardia Airport Tuesday morning. And number 8 in the headlines, yeah, we can't build around him. Colin Cowherd believes the Grizzlies trading Desmond Bain means they don't trust Ja anymore. Cowherd thinks the team has finally grown tired of Ja Morant as their number one option and wants to slip him down the pecking order in order to stay relevant in the increasingly competitive Western Conference. Again, this is related to teams in the league. Looking at their salary caps, budgets, and money they have to spend, and moving accordingly with the opportunity to trade. We all remember Ja Morant having his period where he was just making decisions that were not productive, to his advancement and to his career. So since then, in that case, things have been quiet, although with the NBA Finals going on, obviously they are not participating in that. And in the top stories, national security concerns linger in Capitol Hill as Americans keep scrolling under Trump's TikTok extension plus 90 days. The government is saying that they would like an American buyer to wade in on TikTok, or if not buy it, at least have a percentage in it, since all the information goes back to headquarters in China. Dodgers block ICE agents from entering stadium in Los Angeles, team says. Again, choices. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is rounding up immigrants, and some of the places they are choosing to enter to detain said immigrants is sometimes questionable. In this case, the Dodgers said no. Meet Mark Walter, the man poised to buy the LA Lakers in a record-setting $10 billion deal. CEO and major sports investor Mark Wader is slated to buy the Los Angeles Lakers for $10 billion. The sale breaks the record for most expensive worldwide, surpassing the $6.1 billion Boston Celtics deal. Walters also primary owner of the LA Dodgers and WNBA Sparks, and a founding investor in the PWHL. This originally started, I believe, with Walters having a 26% share in the Lakers with first option to buy the team if that occasion arose. The Lakers sale was approved by members of the Buss family through a majority vote per ESPN. The team's current governor, Jenny Buss, will continue in that role and run the team going forward as a stipulation of the deal. The Buss family will also retain a 15% stake. Walters, is purchasing the Lakers from the Buss family, who have owned the franchise since 1979. The longest running ownership of a current NBA franchise. During that time period, the team won 11 championships. Continuing with the top stories, Xi and Putin present united front over Israel-Iran crisis and veiled message to Trump. Amid all this going on, again, when you think of things globally, one hand washes the other. We benefit from everybody's contribution to the whole. And Iran is a major contributor to oil, i.e. gasoline usage in this country. Number 5, top stories. Trump's border czar says worksite immigration raids will continue, but criminals will be prioritized. Imagine that, all this from, what was it, a 1789 law written in this country, and he invoked it to proceed with things in this manner. Speaking of President Trump. What's next for Karen Reed after her acquittal? Karen Reed, allegedly while drunk, struck her boyfriend with the car, ran over him, left him in the snow. Him being a police officer, whereas he was pronounced dead at the hospital or died from those circumstances. So this is her second one mistrial, having been brought to court before. This time, it was like no decision. She was acquitted of these charges, but still was guilty of driving under the influence, because it was well established that she had had more to drink than sobriety tests allow. So there's still the civil case pending in regards to this matter, so probably more news forthcoming. Minnesota lawmaker who survived shooting shares harrowing account of how the attack unfolded. So you've probably seen in the news where two couples, woman held the position of representative and husband was with her. They were shot and subsequently died from their wounds. Then another couple, I think there was two different locations. And the next couple suffered gunshot wounds. So the surviving person, one of the surviving people, is speaking out about how the attack unfolded. See photos of Juneteenth celebrations across the U.S. You can access this on your own via the internet. And number 9 in the top stories, Indiana Pacers blows out Thunder to set up first NBA Finals Game 7 since 2016. This has been an interesting playoffs. It was stated earlier before the finals by sports commentators that going into the finals, you need a deep bench and a healthy team. So I think this finals run series has really exemplified that. I think there's just been one injury to note, and I think that was Halliburton to his calf, although he did come back and play. And despite hard fouls and hard falls, both teams have continued to play, So 3-3 is just like, although it may not feel like it physically, I'm sure it's just like 0-0. So we have Game 7 of the NBA Finals 2025. And number 10 in the top story, surprisingly enough, the U.S. added 1,000 new millionaires a day in 2024, a report. So if that strikes your interest, Google it. This is The Side Show with Theodore Parker. Today is Friday, June 20th, first day of summer 2025. That's it. Hashtag.